This week, martial arts enter Star Citizen. We sit down with Global Head of Production Aaron Roberts to discuss all things Foundry 42. And we explore the origins of our 3D printed retaliator with Mr. Combustible in the wonderful world of Star Citizen. Also, what happened to my art sneak peek? All this and more in this week's Around the Verse.
So this one, you can actually go prone in this one, and you can go to the maintenance room just like this. If you're not really...
Okay.
Yeah. So you're forced to be crouched in this space, but
there we go. Okay.
This is a true maintenance corridor.
So you have all sorts of access to components down here. So where these big boxes are on the wall, these will be replaced with the actual ship components when they come online. So this is where you'll be going to repair damaged components.
Stand up.
Yeah, Scandi is supposed to stand.
She might knock down a light if she stands up. But by the way, thank you all very much for this gift. This has been very popular in the office.
I want to see a series of pictures.
This is Mission Control, receiving you, Commander.
The Eagle has landed. The Eagle has landed. Strike Recon Team is online.
Acknowledged, Commander. Transmit identification data now.
Transmitting now.
Confirmed, Commander. Personnel validated. Strike team assembled. Mission is a go. I repeat, mission is a go. Execute Executive Order Squadron 42. Good hunting, Commander.
Thanks, Control. Good to be back.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the wonderful world of Star Citizen. I'm your host, Community Manager Jared Huckabee, and joining us today is our first-time, two-time featurette here on the wonderful world, Mr. Chris Wolf, otherwise known as Combustible Props, or Mr. Combustible. How you doing, man?
G'day, guys. Pretty good, actually.
So what should I call you? Should I call you Chris, Mr. Combustible, Combustible Props?
Wolfie works, whatever you feel comfortable with.
All right, thanks, Tim. So Tim is the guy who has he's done a lot of 3D printing. You may have seen him before. He did his full Star Marine outfit. He's also responsible for that wonderful 3D printed retaliator model that hangs in the back of our fan cave set. And that was you, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
I'm not misremembering anything?
No, myself and Fire Spikes.
And Fire Spikes, who was another Star Citizen fan favorite. He's responsible for all that crab stuff, right?
Yep. With butter.
Yeah, all right. All right, so crap stuff aside, we wanted to take a behind-the-scenes look at the making of that 3D printed Retaliator, because everybody tends to think, oh yeah, I could 3D print. Why don't you just give me the file and I'll print it up, and they'll have their own 3D printed Retaliator. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making one of these things, and we wanted to take the time to detail some of that. So I understand we've got a video prepped, right?
Absolutely.
All
so
right.
if we...
I don't have anybody else here. Let's roll the clip.
Okie doke. So this is the video I created for the 3D printed Retaliator. This just documents all the steps. So what you're seeing here is the entire model, and the cube is the printer bed size. So that's what I use to size everything for slicing. And this section you'll see is one of the sections, and you can see it's hollow and it's not filled in. The printer would have a heart attack printing this, so what I'm doing here is building in all the walls, so blocking it in and making certain it's all one solid piece.
Gotcha. This looks like what, Google SketchUp?
Yeah, I'm not a very good modeler, so this is about my skill level.
Gotcha. So Firespikes takes the model, he cuts it into pieces for you?
No, he extracts it from the game and does a lot of processing work, so separating out various parts like landing gear. You can see one of the mistakes when you don't clean the model up properly.
Right.
So he takes a game model, extracts it and separates all the bits, and then shoots it through to me, and I'll scale it and slice it up ready for the printer. And then on each individual part I'll box in and stitch in the walls.
Gotcha. And I noticed we left the torpedo bay clear here.
Absolutely. So we tried to keep everything functional, so all the bomb bays, all the torpedoes, all that should be there. And
now, how did you decide on a scale?
The scale itself links back to how much detail you want. So the more detail you want, the larger it has to be. And here you can see the printer itself with the internal grid structure. I think I scaled it to about 70 centimeters long, and that allowed all the landing gear and flaps and bomb bay doors to exist and be viable.
Gotcha. And this is made of, what is this made of?
So this is ABS plastic. I use ABS a lot because I can use acetone to weld it together. It's pretty toxic if it's if you're breathing it in, but yeah, it's not too bad. So this is the model together. This is after all the bits have been fused together with acetone. The model itself, the 3D print, is quite rough, so there's multiple passes with sandpaper and oscillating tools just to clean up the surface. You can sort of see all the detail there.
Gotcha. And you remember how long you spent on just the sanding?
This aspect, it would have been at least 4 days, just solid sanding. As you can see, it was quite comfy in front of a fire, but it's a lot of work. So this is the spot putty. So this is what you need to do to fill all the gaps. Once I get a bigger printer, I'll have less gaps to fill because I can print larger parts. So every single join I had to fill, but not just fill, I had to sand it. So there's multiple passes with the filler and the sanding.
Gotcha. And what printer are you using for this?
I'm using an Up +2. I'm actually using 2. It's a really reliable printer. The only drawback is that it's got a small print bed, so everything you print on it has to be cut up and has to be sized correctly. Hopefully I'll get one with a bigger print bed soon. I don't know if you can see all the little holes and things that I'm hitting, but
Yeah.
so this is
And I'm sorry. What made you decide to build the Retaliator in the first place?
well, I wanted to do a second ship, and it just so happened that you asked me to, the information about doing one for CIG, and yeah, I left at that. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, most people probably don't know this, and no reason they should, but I put the bill for this one. So you donated your labor, I donated my money.
Full respect for that. So,
we actually started this project before I started working here.
Really?
If I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah. When did we start this?
It's close to August, I think.
Was it August? I thought it was
Bit
earlier
after.
than that.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah. So this is the landing gear and bomb bays, torpedoes, and this is a primer filler. So it gives a very thick primer coating, and once again, this is step one of about 4 steps. So primer filler, sand, primer filler, sand.
Yeah.
You can see all the pink areas where all the spot filler gets covered over, and the bomb bays.
How do you get in the bomb bays without it pooling up?
Difficulty. You got to be tricky with the spray paint. So these are the 3D printers. What I'm printing here are the turrets and the bases. I had to redo these because they were too large. They didn't fit into the sockets on the ship itself.
Gotcha.
So it's a slow process. I think this would have taken a couple of hours to print.
Yes, I remember when we first pulled it out, one of the turrets fell out and it fell on the floor, and we had to do this whole everybody watch where you're stepping. Everybody raise your right foot.
Oh, no.
Everybody raise your left foot to make sure we found it without stepping on it.
Yeah.
Destroying it.
It's a hard jigsaw puzzle to do in reverse. So getting everything to fit virtually and then doing the same physically in a model format, it's quite good. So these are the fins. They're held on by pins, so they hold right angle.
Yes, and I'm here to tell you there is a specific left fin and a specific right fin, and if you try to put the left fin into the right fin spot, they will break, and you will have to ask Mr. Combustible to make you new ones.
Hopefully I color matched them perfectly, so it was
Yeah, no, they came across great.
awesome. So this is the matte black. This is the base coat. I did a few color tests, and this turned out to be the most stealth-looking matte black paint I could find. So once again, this is the first of about 2 passes, just to try and get all the nooks and crannies.
Gotcha.
Looks very... Sorry?
Yeah, it looks shinier than it ends up.
Yeah,
That's when it dries, it becomes matte.
it definitely comes out very shiny. As you can see here, the dried color is quite good. So what I'm doing here is masking off the areas ready for the red trim. Once I've added the tape, you just cover the entire thing in newspaper and then spray the amazing looking red without hitting the rest of the ship. So that would be bad.
Uncle turns anger into fundraiser.
It's always cool seeing old news stories.
Heavy duty blue super wipes. What are heavy duty blue super wipes?
Chuck's maybe? I'm not sure. Chuck's brand.
I don't think we have those here.
So this is where the paint is, the tape is coming off, leaving the nice sort of red trim. And this is after all the weathering and silver paint on the landing gear.
How do you do the weathering?
So the weathering sort of breaks up the flat color, like the flat black, and it adds a bit of shade to the raised areas. So the technique I used was dry brushing. So you get a bit of paint on your brush, and then brush it over the edges, and it sort of stays only on the raised texture. There'll be a couple of close-ups where you'll be able to see it a bit better. Now the one thing that really stumped me is how you paint canopies. Like, you can't paint clear, so I decided to settle on a gold sort of gradient that, you know, you see astronauts having the gold visors and things like that. So
I know it came out great.
I would love to see someone make a drone out of one of these. That would be amazing.
How about that? They can't make it out of mine. Mine's on the wall. Nobody's touching it. All right, man. Well, that was cool. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Honestly, it didn't look that hard. I'm pretty sure I could make one of those if I tried.
I reckon you could. Just get a 3D printer and you're set.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just a 3D printer and that's all. You just pop in the thing, you open the file, and you hit print.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with us, Chris. Do you have your next Star Citizen plan lined up? What are you making next?
I am holding out for the new armor that I may have seen recently. That's at both parts super scary and super exciting. So.
Yeah. Almost. It's so close. Jeremiah and Omar are doing some fantastic work. You're not going to be disappointed.
I can't wait.
All right, Chris, thanks for taking your time to be on the show. Back to you guys, Ben and Sandy.
And that's how we got our Retaliator.
I know, because I saw the same video. Just saying.
All right, then.
That was our acting performance for the week. Now it is time for this week's MVP. Envelope, please.
There you go.
Oh, look, it's got nice little pretty stars. And the winner is Fastcart. Congratulations, Fastcart, for being this week's MVP with a wonderful spreadsheet detailing all the various Star Citizen game packages over the years, including everything they get you and comparisons to standalone items.
Maybe a comprehensive spreadsheet doesn't seem that exciting for folks interested in visceral space combat action, but it helps us quite a bit. We showed it to our VP of Publishing, John Erskine, who was just astounded by it. So this is a spreadsheet that has impressed the king of spreadsheets.
So congratulations, Fastcart. You are this week's MVP. Moving right along, we have the Art Sneak Peek. What is it?
The Art Sneak Peek is no more. It has been replaced with a new segment, which we're calling ATV Fast Forward.
Aha. We now have a new segment to replace the Art Sneak Peek. Check out our ATV Fast Forward, where we show you not just art, but a glimpse of all the new systems being worked on for Star Citizen. Take a look.
Adding foley to characters has always been a huge time-consuming task due to the high number of markups that we had to do for each single animation. We had to come up with a more automated solution, and so we built a system that drives audio directly from the player movements in-game. By doing so, we recorded a brand new set of sounds. The new Foley system also allows us to add more dynamics to the character movement, as well as achieving a better sync. Here are some examples.
will see you next week on Around the Verse.